So you were working with my partner in crime, Brian.
Yeah.
Brian Knudson
Yeah.
today.
With Brian, yeah.
How would you just describe like his game in general?
Yeah, no, he hits it great. You could tell he struggles with height and some directional issues. So that was kind of what we focused on today. I asked him how I could make his driver better. He said he has a pretty nasty left miss, and he said if he could take away that left side of the golf course, it'd just be more enjoyable to play golf.
When you looked at his game or driver, did you kind of know immediately what direction you were going to go with?
No, not necessarily. I mean, the one thing that stuck out was he had his driver lofted up to fix his height issue, but what that does actually closes the face a little bit, so it kind of hurt his directional issue. So he was doing the right things by lofting it up, but he was increasing the left miss. So it's about finding the right club for the player for both of his misses, which is low and left.
So going into the TSR, what were you thinking head model wise? What did he try and how did it go?
So he walked in TSR 3, or TSI 3, I'm sorry, and we tried all the heads. I wanted him to try them all. We tried the 2, the 3, and the 4. His strike location, he uses a lot of the face, and so I want to give him a club that's designed for that. So in the 2 model, he wasn't hitting it in the center, but he was hitting it much straighter. And then so we addressed the center strike by making his driver shaft a little shorter. So he actually came in at 45 1/4 and he walked out at 44 1/2. And it was a kind of a smiling moment when I handed him a 44 1/2, didn't tell him, and he had 4 drivers right down the middle, and looking at strike location, they were all in the center. So our big belief here is you should choose the length of golf club that gives the player the best chance to hit the center of the face. And for him, it was 44 1/2 inch driver shaft.
That's interesting that I got fit into something shorter. Usually I was at 45 1/2.
Yeah.
He got fit into lower than 45 inches
That's
as well.
right,
Is
yeah.
that kind of like a philosophy here to go a little bit shorter?
It's not about what the length is. It's just literally what gives the player the best chance to hit the center. I mean, I tried 45 1/2, I tried 45, and we tried 44 1/2. The shaft, or the golf ball, doesn't know how tall you are. It doesn't know how long the shaft is. So it's just about giving the player the best chance to hit the center. I wouldn't say it's a philosophy to go shorter, but just whatever works. At this point, golf's hard, so we're trying to make it easier.
So what performance improvements did he see? Did he gain a little distance, accuracy?
Yeah, so his ball speed went up 3 miles an hour. Really, because he was hitting the center of the face. I mean, he was losing ball speed. His smash factor went up, and his accuracy was like 25 yards tighter on dispersion. Now, he had a couple quick misses with his, but it was really just the ability for him to hit the fairway. He's not the longest guy.
No, he's not.
In comparison to you.
Okay.
So he can't really sacrifice hitting it any shorter. So to be able to keep his ball speed up by going shorter with the driver because he hit the center was a win-win for sure.
So working into the fairway wood, like how does he hit fairway woods? Does he hit them well? And what did you guys work on there?
So he walked in struggling with the fairway wood, right? He goes, this is my nemesis golf club. And normally before he hits the ball, that means that they're ascending, right? They hit up on a fairway wood, which is not really how the club's designed. And sure enough, he was about neutral to 1 up with his current fairway wood. So as a fitter, that's tough because you need to be 2 to 3 degrees down to have success in a fairway wood. So I did a trick where I handed him a very short fairway wood shaft. I handed him like a 41-inch shaft, which was 2 inches under. Not to fit him into it, just be like, here, hit this, figure it out. And he immediately got 5 to 6 degrees down on it because it was shorter. Okay, give it back. And then I gave him back to 42 1/2, which is what he was playing. Boom, 3 degrees down. And now he has some confidence hitting a fairway wood. He didn't want to hit it off off the ground when he walked in because he was ascending. And at the end, he was striping him off the ground because he was 3 degrees down. So for me, it was the trick of giving him short to get him to get down on it and then say, okay, and then kind of finding the right length for him. 41 I thought was too short. It was almost like a training aid at that point. It was just to get his perception shifted on how to hit a fairway wood properly. So it was great.
So what did you guys end up in specs-wise?
Yeah, so TSR 2, 15 degree, set down to C1. Again, right, I always want a lower loft for a player that misses left because opens the face up. So he wasn't missing it left at all. He was actually getting a nice fade, which he said he hasn't been able to fade a 3-wood in years. So in C1 with the new hazardous shaft at 42.5, which on paper is a half inch short, but it's the same length he was playing when he walked in. And we actually put him in a 5-wood. He kind of came in wanting a 7-wood, but it was actually going too high. So we talk about players' apexes and windows a lot, and a 7-wood was well above his window. So we ended up getting a 5-wood, which was right in his window, 42 inch. So that one's a half inch shorter than his 3.
The tour has been kind of trending towards more 7-woods.
Yeah.
Is that something you guys see as well? Is it something that you recommend to amateurs?
Absolutely, right. A 7-wood such it's more utilized now than it ever has been. It's something we fit a lot here. People don't realize, but your 4-iron or your 4-iron replacement, maybe a 7-wood, should fly as high as your 7-iron. Should fly as high as your 8-iron. So it's about your windows all being the same and picking the right tools to give you the window. I told Brian, I was like, I'll play 13 7-irons as long as they go a different distance and hit my window. So that's the key here, is just getting him to hit his window. He thought it was going to be a 7-wood, but he hit a 5-wood and it hit his window and hit his distance that he was trying to hit. So yeah, just pick the club, whether it's 7-wood or 5-wood, that hits your window, goes the distance you're trying to hit, and has a chance to stop on the greens. I would say the amateurs need to look at their own bag, and if they see a 7-iron and 4-iron going different heights, then the 4-iron's probably the wrong club for that.
Last question, in general, just when you see amateurs come in here and you're fitting them, they bring their gamer driver, what's typically the biggest mistake that they have, whether it's flex of shaft or loft or whatever it is? Like, what are they most likely getting wrong?
Loft, length, flex. Those 3, probably in that order. I would say, golfers think loft changes ball flight, and it does a little bit, but your ball flight's kind of your swing, right? If you hit up on it, you're going to hit it high. So I would say loft changes more spin than anything. So I would say the next thing is most golfers think that like low spin is good, and low spin's, it's only good, the right spin's good, I should say. It's not low spin, it's the right spin for your launch. I would say that's a misconception that's probably out there, is that everybody needs to spin it at 2,000 when PGA Tour average is 2,600. Right? So that's something I think they could do a better job at with all these TrackMans on TVs, not explaining that not everybody hits it like Rory. Right? There's the proper amount of spin for a golf ball.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go.